This is our lesson 4, and we'll start from where we left off last time. So we had the web page that looked like this. So we had the link here, and then we had the table, and then we had another table with 2 pictures. And what we'll do today is we'll add more features to the page. We'll learn new tags, new attributes. I didn't talk about attributes yet, but we did it already. So I'll explain today what attributes are. And the first thing that I see that doesn't look that great here is the number 1. If you can see here, number 1 is all the way to the left, and this is a big cell of the table. So we would like to center it so it will look nicer. So in order to do that, let's go to the HTML page. And actually I'll copy the page 3 and create page 4. So we'll leave page 3 the same way, and we'll change page 4. So we'll do save as, call it page 4. This way we'll have a reference if we want to go back to where we started from today. We can always go back to page 3. So if you remember, this was the link. Those were actually the 2 links that we had. And then we had the table here, with the first cell has the game number in the first row, then it has team 1, team 2, and the score, and the second row has the number 1. So we said we wanted this number 1 to be centered. So what we do is we add an attribute inside the TD tag, and we'll call that attribute center. Actually, that attribute will have to be not inside the TD, it will have to be surrounding the number. And we close it with /center. And let's update it. Save. And let's load the page again. No, actually we're loading it for the first time because it's page 4. And while it's loading, I got disconnected. I'll reconnect again. We're in the directory learn, and page 4 was loaded. So we'll go here and type in page 4. And now you can see that the 1 is centered. Okay, so our attribute of center worked. Okay, now you remember that we had the background for the page, but I can also change the background for the table. So if you look at this table, if I want to make it distinct from the background, let me go and change the color of the table. And this time I'll show you there are websites that give you different colors, and we don't have to be limited with the colors that we know the names for. And this is, for example, I'll send you this website. It has different shades here, and we can select anything we want, and I'll show you how to do that. So for instance, let's say we want the table to be with color of let's take the background is sky blue, so let's take yellow, sort of yellow, gold. This is called gold here. They call it gold, but what we'll take is we'll take the value that's here, and this value is a code for color, and I will teach you about those codes at a later point, but for right now let's just go to the page and add a background color for the table. So here is our table, and we'll say background color equals, and we'll put the value of that color, and it's the same name of attribute as we had here for the page. So attribute is something that we can associate with a tag, or we can associate with text, and it changes something about that text or that part of the page that we assign the attribute to. So here we put background color and we put it in the table tag. See, this is the table tag, and the table has one attribute which is border equals 1, and now I added the second attribute which is background color equals this, and let's save it and let's see how the table looks now. We should get a background of gold color once it's uploaded. Okay, it's taking some time. Okay, now it uploaded it. Let's go to the page and look at our page 4. Reload, and now you see that the color of the table changed to gold, they call it. Now we can even change one cell. Let's say we want to change game number. Only this cell we want to make it different colors. So let's see if we can change only one cell. First let's pick a color, and for this I'll pick a color that's called gray. Take this color and we'll put a background for the first cell, which is game number. We put background color equals that gray, and we'll save it. So what we did now is, let me just try to load it again. And now what's supposed to happen is when we refresh the page, only this cell is supposed to change the color from yellow background to gray background. So let's see if that happens. Yeah, okay, take a closer look. You see that cell alone changed color from yellow to gray. So this way you can play with different cells, you can assign different colors, and you can change the look of the page. Okay, let's see what else I wanted to show you. Okay, another thing that I wanted to show you is I have a table here, another table that I want to put on the page, and let's put it down below after the pictures. I'll put a horizontal ruler to show that there is a difference, and I will start to put new things on the page. Okay, so here I'll put another table, and look at this table. I define here two attributes in the table tag. One of them says width equals 100%. Width equals 100% means that I want to fill out the whole width of the web page with a table. And border, let's make border equals 3. So we'll see a difference between this table and the previous tables. And another thing that I wanted to do is I can show you that on the page itself. What I wanted to do is I want one column to span on the row longer than one column. So what does that mean? If I have a table with 2 columns or 3 columns, I want one of the rows to span over 2 columns. Maybe it's better if I show it to you and then we'll explain it again. So I'll do a save and upload the page. And let's see how the new table looks like, and then we'll talk about that span parameter. Okay, so if I refresh the page, what I got here is a new table. You see here the horizontal ruler. Now you see that the table spans on the entire page because I said 100%. And you see that the first row says book readings, and the first row doesn't have any columns because I said span 2. Let's go back and look at the HTML. See, I said col span equals 2, which means span that row over, or that column over 2 columns. So the next row, this is the first row. So the first row has 1 column that spans over 2 columns. The second row is just a regular row with 2 TDs, which means 2 columns. And the third row is also a regular row with 2 TDs, which means 2 columns. And when we look at the table, this is what we see. We see the 3 rows, and the first row spans over 2 columns. And in the next row we have 1 column here, and we have the second column here. Now this table doesn't look that great. Let's make it smaller than 100%, So let's change it to let's say 40% of the page. So that width is another attribute of table, right? Because it's inside the table tag, right? We have inside the table tag, we have width. So let's upload it and let's see if there is a change. We're trying to change the width of the table now. So again, you see the table now spans over the whole page, and after we load it, it'll be 40% of the page, which will be much narrower. Let's refresh the page. Okay, so now you see that the table shrunk to 40% of the page. Now we can also, instead of percentage, we can put pixels. So we can go back and instead of width equals 40%, we can say width equals 400 pixels. So the browser understands if we don't put a percent sign, it understands that we want pixels. So let's see how it looks with pixels. Refresh. And now it's even smaller because this is 400 pixels. Now, the span on the columns could also be a span on the rows. We can take several rows and make them one column. And this is the second example that I'll show you with another span. And this time it's a row span. So let's copy this example into our page and let's put it after this table. And now we'll put few breaks here so we can see it clearly. And another horizontal ruler. And then we'll paste another table. And this table will put 600 pixels. So we can see the difference. That one was 400, this one is 600. The border we'll put as 1. And I put the same content more or less. No, I put something different. Readings for the holiday. And I said in the first column, I said row span of 3. So take the first column and span it over 3 rows. So instead of the spanning like this table this way, horizontally, it will be a vertical span. So let's see what else. Okay, so this is a simple table. Let's also change the background of this table, so we'll make it totally different. And let's pick another color from our website. And let's pick this time something that's called let's take something that's called green yellow. We'll take this and we'll make the background of the second table of this color. So now remember, we have the first table still there and then we have breaks and horizontal ruler, and then we have our new table, which will be 600 pixels wide. We'll have a border of 1, and background color will be sort of green-yellow. And the important thing is that the first column will span over 3 rows. So let's see how this type of table looks like. It's a little bit slow. Go back to the website in the meantime. Let's go to our page. Okay, it's transferring. Get some timeout on the website. Waiting for it to connect again. Anyway, so remember, now we'll have a second table under this table, and that table will have a different background, and it will have a column that spans over 3 rows. Okay, so it transferred. Let's refresh. Okay, so this is our second table with the background that we wanted, and you can see the column that spans over 3 rows. Now you see what I mean by spanning. This column spans over 3 rows because we have 1, 2, 3 rows in the table, but I said the first column I wanted a span, so I did the row span attribute, and this is how it looks with a different span. Okay, let's see what else I want to show you. Okay, so another thing that I wanted to show you was how to create an unordered list on the page. An unordered list is sometimes necessary. For example, let's take this unordered list and I'll explain it. I'll copy it into our page, and again we'll put it at the bottom so it will stand out. It will not mix with the rest of the stuff that we did so far. Put the breaks and put the horizontal ruler. Okay, so let me put it here. And let's talk a little bit about the unordered list. So first I put a heading that's called drink selection, and you already know what headings are, so you'll see the drink selection with a little bigger, like headings, and headings type 3, H3. And this is how the unordered list starts. We have a tag that's called UL, and then inside, in between LI tags, we put different items. So we want to create a list of drinks. So we have to put those, the unordered list starts with a UL tag and ends with a /UL. UL stands for unordered list. And then each and every drink will show up between li tag and /li. So those will be different items that will show on different lines of the unordered list. So we have carrot juice, we have milk as a third one, and we have the fourth one, iced tea, and we have the fifth one is water or mayim in Hebrew, and the last one I just wrote something in Hebrew. I wrote Habiba. So this is just for fun, and we'll see how those things look when we load the page. And let's update it, save. Wait for it to load. And so now what will happen is it will show up under this table, the unordered list of drinks, when we refresh the page. So let's refresh the page. Okay, so here is our drink selection. You see drink selection, and you see that the names of the drinks show here, each one in a different line with a black circle on the left: fruit punch, carrot juice, milk, iced tea, water, mayim. And what happened to Habiba? Whew, Habiba disappeared. Okay, so the point of this exercise was actually two things. The first thing is to teach you the unordered list, and the second thing to teach you about international characters. Because as you see, if we just put Hebrew here and we don't do anything else, it simply doesn't work. But we have a way to make it work. So the way to make it work, we have to use a special character set. And I'll take this line, and what this line does, I'll put this line in our page, and I'll put it in the very beginning, before even the beginning of the HTML, because this is a signal to the browser that the content type of the page will be text or HTML, and the character set will be international. UTF-8 is one of the international character sets, and with this character set I can represent foreign languages on our page. So we are not confined only to English, and since you know foreign languages as well, then you should know that you can put text in different languages on your web page. So now, as we see here in the unordered list, you see Habiba here. Hopefully now Habiba will show on the web page as well when we load this with this line here that tell the browser to use international character set. So let's load the page again. Let's see, while loading it, let's see if I have to do anything. Oh, okay, it's loaded. So let's go here, and you see I didn't refresh it yet, so now it's gobbledygook here, and do a refresh, and now Habiba showed up. You see, here's Habiba, and that means this page now can contain international characters. So this was one of the elements I wanted to show you today. So now the next thing I wanted to do is actually use the knowledge that you already have and show you how to create a small website that we can navigate. And this is going to be nothing new, but if you remember, we created links here, and now what I'll do is I'll create a new page, and the new page will have only links, and then I will link to page 2, page 3, and page 4. So we'll have sort of a small website of our own where we can navigate from one page to the other, back and forth. So let's create ourselves a new page. And let me save this as a new page. We'll call it, we have page 5, we'll call it page 6. And page 6 will just contain links. So I will erase this. I'll call it our 6th page. And I'll leave the sky blue. I'll take out the links here. I'll take out those tables. Erase all the tables. And what I'll leave on this page will be just an unordered list, but this unordered list will have links. So we'll write here menu. This will be our menu, and here inside we'll put our links, and we'll just copy the link from the previous page. Let's go to our page 4, copy the link, and put it here. So the first thing we'll do is link to page 1 actually, and here we'll write page 1, and then we'll do a link to page 2, and we'll do a link to page 3, and the last one will be page 4. So we'll copy this, and we'll do one more link. This will be page 4. Okay, so we have our list here, and let's load it. This is page 6. It's page 6. got disconnected again. Connecting. Okay, now it should be visible. Let's see if it did it. In Learn. Let's see, page 6 is there. So let's put page 6. So page 6 looks like this. That's what we expected. A list of links, unordered list, which says menu. This will be our menu. And when we click page 1, we have a broken link because we don't have page 1. Go back. Page 2 is our page 2. And go back. Page 3, what we had before. And oh, I forgot to change the name here to page 4, but this is page 4. So let me go and correct it. So page 1 for now we don't have, so let's just take it out. And page 4, the name of it here, the link was correct, but the name was incorrect. So now that will be fine. And upload it again. Okay, so now we'll refresh it. So now we have only 3 links. Page 4 really goes to page 4. And the thing that we're missing now, in order to navigate the website, we have from the menu to the individual pages, but we don't have a way to return back to the menu. So what we'll do is we'll simply copy the same menu that we have in page 6, this unordered list, and we'll put it in the other pages. So we'll open page 4 and we'll put it in the beginning of the body of page 4. Actually, yeah, we don't care so much about those links. We can leave those links. I'll just put a break between them so they will be distinct. But here I'll put the unordered list, which will be the menu. Now this is page 4, so we don't need a link to page 4. So instead of page 4, we'll make a link to page 6 and we'll call it menu. We'll save this. So now we'll upload page 4 and let's see the effect that we had. Oh, it didn't do it yet. Okay, now it's doing it. Now it did it. Okay, so now if we go to page 4 from the menu, it will show us page 4 as before, but it will have a menu of its own because we planted the same unordered list of the menu and we changed it slightly. So if we click on menu, it should go back to page 6, which is our menu. So now you see that we have a nice link between this menu page, which is page 6 for us, and page 4. But if we go to page 3, we cannot go back to the menu. So the next thing we'll do is we'll copy the menu into page 3 and page 2. So let's take this list again, close page 4, We'll open page 3. And we'll put it in page 3. And here we don't need to go to page 3, but we need to go to page 4. So we'll put page 4. So from 3 we can go to 2, 4, and 6, which is the menu. So this is page 3. We'll update this one. And the last one that we need is page 2. And here again we'll put inside the body, we'll put our menu. And from here, since this is page 2, we don't need to go to page 2, so we'll write page 3 and page 3 here. And then we want to go to page 4, and page 4 also the text. And we want to be able to go to the menu, save. So now we have to upload page 3 and page 2. Okay, uploading page 2. And uploading page 3. Page 3. Page 2. And now the pages will be connected. So now let's go to the menu. Let's try page 2. We have to refresh this. And we also have the menu here. So from page 2, if you want to go back to the menu, we do this. Go back to page 2. And we can also go from page 2 to page 3. And from page 3 we can go to page 4 if we want. Or we can go back to the menu. And from the menu, so now you see that everything is connected. You can always go from any page to any page and back. So this is one of the ideas when you build an entire website, that you'll be able to navigate between the pages and you have some logical way of doing it. So this is already a matter of how you design your website, and I leave it up to you to create some small website and experiment with the tools that we know so far. But you have enough things to play with. I think you can change colors on cells of tables. You can change... Actually, there was one more thing that I wanted to show you before we finish this lesson. I wanted to show you something that's called cell padding. Let me take those two tables . Let me add them to page 6, because that's the page that we don't have much on. So it'll be easy to see. And after the menu, I'll just paste two new tables. And one of them has the heading without cell padding, and the other one has the heading with cell padding. And let's see what cell padding does. I added an attribute to the table, which is called cell padding, and I gave it a number. So let's update page 6. and let's load it. Meantime, let's prepare page 6 here. Let's see if it loaded. Not yet. Okay, now it's loaded. Okay, so here you see the table without cell padding, and look at the table. I'll make you give a closer look. Without cell padding, and this is with cell padding. So what is cell padding? Cell padding gives you some padding between the edges of the cell and the content of the cell. You see here the word first, second, row. Those words are very close to the borders. And here, those words are not so close to the borders. They are centered more or less inside the cell. So that's what cell padding does. It moves the content of the cell internally, and it pads around the text. It pads it with some spaces. We put 10, so it gave us a padding of 10 pixels, and we can of course change it and put different padding. But now you see what this idea of cell padding does, and again, this is how it looks with the HTML. We did it at the level of the table attribute, so the cell padding takes effect for the entire table. Second table has the cell padding. So you can play around with cell padding as well, and in the next lesson we'll learn a few more attributes, but for now I think you have enough to build something, and we'll leave something for the next lesson as well. So that's it for lesson number 4.